Well, what life experiences specifically brought you to adoption? If you don't mind me prying.
Sure, no, it's no problem. We're very open about it because I think that a lot of families, a lot of women struggle with infertility, and it's something that we don't really discuss. Oftentimes, as soon as you get married, people ask you when you're going to start having children. And Brent had a great response. He said for the first 5 years that we're just practicing. So, you know, so for 5 years, that was kind of like we just wanted it to be the two of us. And then we started, you know, like, okay, we're ready to not prevent pregnancy any longer. And we were about a year to a year and a half into not using any birth control, and I was not pregnant. You know, I would think every month, is this going to be the month? And it just wasn't happening. And I ended up getting really sick on a vacation, actually, and found out that I had some major masses from endometriosis. So that is what caused my infertility. And yet we had kind of a grieving period that we had to go through. You have to come to terms with the fact that things are not going to happen the way that you dreamed or imagined that they would happen.
Plans.
So, plans. They can mess you up sometimes, right? So, you know, it was a really hard time. And then, you know, I had a little bit of guilt, which Brent completely didn't put any of this on me, but as the person who was the infertile person in the relationship, I felt kind of guilty that I couldn't conceive a child when, you know, he had like a really healthy sperm count.
Because we went to a fertility clinic and, you know, everything the guys get to do there.
All right.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yes.
It's good to know Brent has a healthy sperm count.
Yes.
How did you get interested in adoption? You're on the other end of the stick here. You're a
professional in the field, and I mean, for Children's Home Society, we've always been an adoption agency. That's how we started back in 1902. And then personally, I was just interested in helping children. You know, I was a middle school teacher for many years and knew that I was put on this earth to be a teacher, and just wanted to relocate back to North Carolina and was looking at different job opportunities, and I found one with Children's Home Society, and the rest is history. So I kind of had to learn all about the child welfare system, probably much like Monica and Brent did as well, and so it was a whole new world for me. It's definitely, it's different.
What's your ideal project, or I think a more sensitive way of saying this is, who's your ideal family when you're looking to help someone be placed with a home?
That's a really good question. I think in families that are investigating or exploring, like fostering and or adopting, you know, it's scary. And really the qualities, I would say, number one, you have it in your heart to help children in North Carolina. Number two, you're flexible and willing to learn and just being open to really supporting a child. That's it.
What child experiences brought you to shape your parental instincts? I mean, let's just be clear what happened before we move any further. Brent and Monica adopted 4 children. First things first, tell us that story. We call that a meet cute in the film industry.
Okay.
How did you come to meet these children and realize that they were your own?
Well, our first child that we fostered, we did end up adopting. She is third in birth order of our 4 children, and we just got a phone call on a Friday evening around 5:30, 6 o'clock that there was a 3-month-old little girl that needed someone to take care of her, that she was underweight, undernourished, and just needed some TLC. And I said yes right away, without any hesitation. And I was actually grocery shopping the moment that I got the phone call, and Brent was home. And so, you know, it was like an excited and kind of a panicky phone call to call, and I had to leave a message on our home phone, which we have to have a home phone number as foster parents. And so I left this message, which is still on
I saved it.
It's still on our what do you call that? A
Answering
machine?
machine.
It's not voicemail, but excuse me.
You could tell she was trying to be really calm when she goes. She's like, "Well, I'm going to finish up here, and then I'm going to go pick up a baby." So then after I called her back. I was like, "What do I do? What do I do?" I'm freaking out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, "Well, come pay for these groceries." So I went and met her at the grocery store, and then
yeah, and then I drove a few minutes down the road and went in, and they hand me this baby, and she is beautiful and in a white dress, and she's just kind of lethargic. But I took her straight home, and Brent was so excited. I think if he would have had to wait another couple minutes, he would have ran the half a mile from our house up to the main street to meet me there. So it was really exciting.
It was.
So we called our friends and our family and people that we go to church with that are part of our support system, and
because we hadn't bought any clothes
yeah,
because we didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Foster parent, you really don't know. We had some PJs that would fit from like birth to 12 months old, like one of these
Right.
sleep sacks.
Yeah.
But we called family and friends, and like within hours there was clothes and a bathtub and like the little baby bathtub.
Well, just so everyone knows, I have a two-year-old daughter. I want to ask this question. Did you lose as much sleep as a real birth parent would? How much sleep was lost after the child entered the home?
Well, I've often said that it's a whole lot easier to pick up a child from social services or from whatever adoption agency or hospital than it is to, give birth. So I did. Yeah, you're not as worn out. You're going into it and you're so excited. There's not any, hormonal fluctuations and physical exhaustion when you become a parent through or supporting a family through foster care. So I would say that we did not lose as much sleep.
But when she got there, she slept through the night. She was easy. Is what we said it. So
She was a breeze.
like the next step to our story is like the very next Friday we get another call. They've got another baby girl. I was like, well, we got all these clothes. And she was easy. Like she slept through the night. Everything's like, sure, we'll take this one. And she was coming straight from the hospital where she'd been for 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks.
How old was she?
3.5 weeks. She was born.
Whoa. And the mother had to give her up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right. Well, it wasn't her choice.
It wasn't her choice, yes. But
Social services intervened. It wasn't safe for her to go home with the birth family. So we said yes, and
she did not sleep.
she did not sleep
At all.
well. No, not at all. It was very challenging.
Mm-hmm.
I would say I think I cried myself to sleep the second night that we had her, questioning, did we make a mistake? This is so much. She's not resting well. It's exhausting. And so that point,
Were you afraid you weren't the right match for her? Or was there some type of reluctancy there?
I think it was just that exhaustion was starting to set in,
Oh, okay.
and it was just more of an emotional response at that point. So there's no doubt that we were meant to care for her for the 9 months that she was in her home.
Yeah.
So she was there and then was reunited with a family member and is doing very well. Thankfully, for a few months to a year after she was reunited with her family, we were able to keep in touch, to see each other over a few occasions. And that really, it just helped us to know that she was in a good place and
Find
that
closure.
yes, it was.
Yeah.
It was. It
Was
really,
it hard to let her go?
Oh, for
It
sure.
was. Yes, it was very difficult. It was again like a death of. We had thought and hoped that we would be able to adopt her and that she and Essie would grow up as sisters. They had been together since they were both, infants. So
Well, they may interact with each other later in life. You never know.
You never know. Yeah. We never
Like
know who
old
we're gonna
friends.
cross paths with.
Yeah, randomly. That's interesting.